Good morning, students. Today we will start with the fifth chapter, that is Through the Eyes of Travelers. In this chapter we will be studying about three travelers who came to India between the 10th to the 17th century. First one being Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni came to India in the 11th century from Uzbekistan. Second one, Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta came to India in the 14th century from Morocco. And lastly, it will be Francois Bernier. He came to India in the 17th century from France. Now here, the travel accounts and reconstruction of Indian history from the 10th to the 17th century will be there. Why we study them? Because they are helpful in reconstructing the history of India from the 10th to the 17th century. We come to know a great deal from these foreign travelers' account about our country India. Most of the travelers came from vastly different social and cultural environment. Hence, they were more attentive to everyday activities and practices which were being held in India. These were taken for granted by indigenous writers. Their difference in perspective makes the accounts interesting. Their account deals with affairs of the court, religious issues, architectural features, and monuments. Now let us take the first traveler, Al-Biruni, who came to India in the 11th century from Uzbekistan. Al-Biruni was born in 973 in Khwarizm, which is called as Uzbekistan nowadays. He was a learned man and well versed in several languages such as Syriac, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew and Sanskrit. Children, remember, two S are there, one A is there, one P is there and one H is there. That is Syriac, Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew. These were the languages which Al-Biruni was known to. Let us talk about Khwarizm now. Khwarizm was an important center of learning. Al-Biruni received the best education available in that age. Now, he had learned the Arabic translation of Greek philosophers like Plato also. Mahmud Ghazni, who was ruler, he invaded Khwarizm in 1017 and brought Al-Biruni with him to Ghazni. He took many poets while returning back and scholars back to his capital Ghazni. Al-Biruni was one of them. Now when in India, Al-Biruni got a chance to learn Indian texts on Indian religion and philosophy. He came into contact with local Sanskrit scholars. Now why did he come to India? What was his objective in coming to India? Firstly, to help those who wanted to discuss religious questions. Children, here the word religious is important. As a repertory of information to those who wanted to associate. This is the second point which says he brought with him a list of information, or he left with him a list of information to those who wanted to associate with him and his religious teachings. Now let us talk about his book Kitabul Hind. Kitabul Hind was a book that was written by Al-Biruni. It was also called as Tehqiq-e-Hind. The accounts of Al-Biruni are there in this book. The Kitabul Hind was written in the language Arabic and was divided into 80 chapters. It is a simple book and a lucid book. The voluminous text is divided into 80 chapters, and there are many subjects which are dealt in this book, like religion and philosophy, astronomy, festivals, manners and customs, alchemy, weights and measures, social life, iconography, laws, and meteorology. Al-Biruni had adopted a mathematical approach. He begins each chapter with a question followed up with a description and comparison of cultures. Scholars viewed this method as a result of his mathematical orientation. Few present-day scholars are of the view that Al-Biruni was oriented towards mathematics. That means, children, he had inclination towards the subject maths. That's why his book is almost geometric in structure, remarkable for its precision and predictability. Now let us talk about the barriers that Al-Biruni observed in understanding the Indian society. Al-Biruni was very much aware of the problems that he could face during his travel. He felt that many barriers obstructed his understanding of the Indian society. The first barrier being language. To him, Sanskrit was so different from Arabic and Persian that the ideas and concepts could not be easily translated from one language to another. He found a lot of difference between Sanskrit and Arabic or Persian. The second barrier Al-Biruni identified was the difference in religious beliefs and practices. The third barrier was a self-observation and consequent insularity of the local population. He depended mainly on the works of Brahmins and often quoted from the Vedas, the Puranas, the Bhagavad Gita, the works of Patanjali and the Manusmriti. Now let us talk about caste system. Al-Biruni's description of the caste system. Al-Biruni tried to explain the caste system by comparing it with other societies. He said that there were four social categories. The four social categories being knights and princes, monks, fire priests and lawyers, physicians, astronomers and other scientists, peasants and artisans. Al-Biruni tried to explain caste system in comparison with its parallels in other societies. He wrote about the four social categories in ancient Persia that I mentioned right now. Actually, he wanted to express that these social categories were not unique to India. He also expressed that all humans are treated equally in Islam and they differ only in their observance piety. He tried to understand that social divisions were not unique to India. He pointed out that within Islam, all men were considered equal and difference was based only on the observance of piety. He described about the four varnas such as Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. But he did not accept the Brahminical notion of pollution. He said that everything which falls into a state of impurity strives and succeeds in regaining its original condition of purity. The sun cleanses the air and the salt in the sea prevents the water from becoming polluted. According to him, the notion of pollution which was intrinsic to caste system was against the laws of nature. Al-Biruni's description of the caste system was deeply influenced by his familiarity with normative Sanskrit texts which laid down the rules governing the system from the point of view of the Brahmins. Now let us discuss this once again, children. Al-Biruni had explained caste system of India. He did not consider it unique as such social divisions were prevalent in ancient Persia also. He accepted the Brahminical description of the caste system, but he did not accept the notion of pollution and stated that the stated that the states of impurity does not remain forever. It soon regains its original condition of purity. The sun cleanses the air, the salt in the sea prevents the water from being polluted, but he finds social pollution as contrary to the laws of nature. Thus, we see that Al-Biruni's description of caste system was deeply influenced by his study of normative Sanskrit books and the views of Brahmins. However, he did not find the system as rigid. For example, the categories like Antyaj. Who are Antyaj? Antyaj are born outside the system. Those people who are born outside the system, they are called as Antyaj. Provided inexpensive labor to both peasants and zamindars. Though such classes were socially oppressed, yet they were included in the economic network.